In terms of the quality assurance of the tests, how you're going to do how you're going to assure and ensure that it is full of quality is by integrating continuously, CI as what we call continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous development. If you don't do this, then you're going to fall apart. So even if you're delivering just again, going back to the shopping cart of the e-commerce website, you still are going to deliver the shopping cart by November, but that has to get integrated when you deliver for example, the catalog. So the catalog and shopping cart should work together. They should not work as separate things. So you've got the catalog, and when you select items from the catalog and you say buy or add to cart, that should be linked and well integrated to the cart functionality. So it should be able to show all the items that you have selected in the cart. So that's called continuous integration. And then that has to be, again, going further into, let's say, February 2021, you need to add the ability to complete the order, to check out that cart. And then that should again be taken further into April when we have the make a payment. So all of these have to be working in tandem, in a proper, integrated, tightly coupled way. It should not be like, oh, this is different, this is different. No, you should not do like that. And that's why, in order to make sure all of these are working, even though you're delivering each of them in separate phases, but they should all work together better. And that's why we should have this continuous integration. Whatever we deliver continuously, we need to integrate. You need to make sure it is all working together, not just separate ones. And then for doing that, what is important is a version control and configuration management. So whatever you delivered back in, for example, in November, you delivered something, the catalog, the one that you're going to deliver and develop and deliver later in, for example, February, the shopping cart, the catalog, they should again work together. And then the payment processing should work together. And for that to happen, you might have made some changes in the code in this period of time. So you should understand which of the code blocks have got updated. What is the latest code? What is the latest functionality? Which feature has been released? So for that, it is important to have the version control. And that's why we've got this lot of tools out there. For example, you've got TFS, from Microsoft, Visual Studio.net, and then you've got some of the latest Eclipse, for example, is another IDE. All of these are different integrated development environment, IDE, integrated development environment. So it actually gives you kind of the platform for developers and the testers and the analysts to actually log in, check the code, check in, check out, like VSS, virtual source safe, that we used to use before about 20 years ago. It still is the same concept where you check in, where you check out the code, you work on the code, and then you check it back in. So the latest code gets into the system, into the server. So anybody can look at the latest code in any period of time. And when you are working, they cannot work. They cannot work on the same code because it gets locked. So that gives you a sense of integrity of the code. And again, like you've got a lot of these online collaborative version control things, like GitHub, for example, is an amazing platform for agile development and coding. You must have a good idea if you're a developer. GitHub and this kind of Git, it is basically a kind of same configuration management tool, version control tool, but it's online. So you can actually log in from anywhere. It's on the cloud. So you can log in anytime from any device, from anywhere. And with your credentials, you can actually get the code, again, check out, check in, and then you can create a branch from there. You can release that branch. So there are a bit of that element there. We'll discuss each of these methods again in the coming weeks in detail. And then automated builds, again, the same. This is what I was talking about, the build just now. So the way you release that particular set of functionality, even though you've got, for example, catalog ready to be released and done in November, you would have the shopping cart in, let's say, February. You might have some changes in the way the catalog is designed. For example, you made some changes in the code based on the feedback from customers. So when you release, for example, the shopping cart in February, you also need to release some of the additional features and changes done on the catalog as to how you can add, how it looks and all that. So all these changes, you need to actually make sure that the latest changes are released in the new build that you deliver to the customers in February, along with the new feature that you're developing. So for that, that's where the they're actually talking about having the automation incorporated. That's where the DevOps, you might have heard about this term, which is very popular nowadays, called DevOps. Again, very important element. They will talk about DevOps briefly in this course. So I'll touch upon that. We'll talk a little bit about the DevOps as a concept, as a method, and its advantage and all that. And then in detail in November, I'll run a separate course, just like how we're going through the Agile one in October. We'll have a separate course for DevOps in November. And then we've got the change management, how you're going to accept the changes, work on the changes, releasing all of these, the feedback from the customers, the change requests, all of these is again key for making sure that the project is a success in Agile.